on, everybody. Here we go!
You're mad.
Thank goodness for that, because if I wasn't, this would probably never work.
No offense, but I don't play well with others. Big man in a suit of armor. Take that away. What are you? Genius, billionaire, playboy, philanthropist.
You stuck-up, half-witted, scruffy-looking nerf herder.
Time travel commencing in T-minus 10 seconds and counting.
5 seconds left in the game. Do you believe in miracles? Yes!
Welcome to the Disney Guys Uncensored. This is episode 120, recorded on July 12th, 2021. I, your host, Drew, and all of the gang is here tonight. Bob, Tim, and Jordana for the first time in several weeks. We're excited. And on tonight's episode, we are pulling out our swim trunks, folks, and we're visiting some of our favorite resort pools on property. However, before we start seeing who can make the biggest splash, we're going to have to stop the Disney news desk to catch up on our weeks off developments and some last couple of weeks excitement. But as always, before we get started here, this episode is sponsored by Wish Upon Magic, an Etsy experience specializing in stickers, keychains, Mickey ears, and handmade home goods. And a portion of every purchase goes to Make-A-Wish Foundation to help spread the magic. I don't know about you guys, but I'm sitting by the pool. I love having my Yeti with all these amazing stickers on here. And some of my favorite summer stickers from Wish Upon Magic is the pineapple Mickey sticker. It's a Mickey-shaped ear with, 3 pineapples. It's pretty clever. They also have the Donald Duck butt cruise sticker, Bub. This one reminds me of you for some reason. It's, Donald Duck when he's in the inner tube. And another fun summer one is the peppermint ice cream Mickey sticker. It's an ice cream cone that has the 2 little, iconic peppermint hard candies as the ears on the ice cream cone. Some amazing stuff. So head over to Wish Upon Magic at www.wishuponmagic.com, where you can find magical new selections every week. And they are your place for fluffy homemade items. And remember to mention the Disney Guys Uncensored in the note section at checkout, and you guys will get some magical freebies. That means you'll get some free stuff, free stickers, and it's like a grab bag. You never know what you're gonna get. It's amazing stuff. I know I do it every time, and I love getting some. I love quality stuff. And again, this episode is made possible by all of our supporters over at Patreon. We want to thank you guys. We appreciate you giving us your money, hard-earned money every month rather. So please visit Patreon page at www.patreon.com/the Disney Guys Uncensored for more information. And let's head over to the Disney News Desk.
Tons of news to go through today, folks. This is what happens when we go to every other week, but we're going to break it all down for you. First off, some new news came out just today. We have the Christmas celebration information for 2021. Disney has confirmed that Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party will not be returning and will be replaced by Disney Very Merriest After Hours, which will debut on November 8th and take place select nights at the Magic Kingdom through December 21st. This event allows guests to experience the Magic Kingdom from 9 p.m. till 1 a.m. on select nights, with event guests able to enter at 7 p.m. and will feature the return of Minnie's Wonderful Christmas Time fireworks, as well as holiday-themed attraction overlays. Unfortunately, the Cinderella Castle Dreamlights will not be part of this celebration. No pricing information yet. Tickets will go on sale next month. Make sure you hit up Jordana Izzo at travelmation.net if you are trying to get those tickets once they become available. Guys, what do you think? Is this the kind of them signaling that the era of parties with, the perks that went with them and unlimited tickets being sold, and this move to an after hours model for the holiday celebrations with a limited number of tickets, but also a more limited entertainment during that time. Is that what we're looking at now, or is this just a COVID thing?
In short, no, parties are not gone. I think we will see them again in the future. But yeah, I think these things take a long time to plan and get situated. And I think with COVID and stuff right now, they couldn't pull it off, I guess one may say. So I don't think parties are dead like we know them in the past. That's my take.
I think they might be. I don't know. Like I was talking I was talking about this today with my husband, and I said, like, I don't know if they're coming back because they might have seen that they can just make as much money with half the effort or whatever the case is with these after-hour tickets. But I'm more concerned about the Cinderella Dreamlights. I'm not going to lie, because I'm thinking about it in the way of they have the castle all done up for the 50th for the next 18 months. And that's technically 2 Christmas seasons. So we're not going to see it back next year either. So I'm thinking that if anything, it'll be back in 2023, but it's going to be a while at that as well.
That was one of the more disappointing parts of the announcement for me. Rachel and I's annual trip is usually during the holiday season, so we can see those dreamlights, and we just so much love that part of the holidays at Disney. So hopefully this is purely a incompatibility with the special decorations for the 50th and the hardness of figuring out how to get those fiber optic lights up there for that. Yeah. But yeah, I could definitely see your point, Drew, on this is we didn't have time to plan it as the nation readjusted its standards for COVID and social distancing and how much people and capacities and all that. But at the same time, I think you have a good point, Jordana, that Disney is selling out these Halloween parties, and this Christmas party will probably sell out. And I'm still saying party, this Halloween after hours event and this Christmas after hours event. So if they're selling these out without a parade, without a candy trail, without a cookie trail, without the special food options, then like, why go to all the trouble to do it the other way? Especially when with the Halloween party, the tickets were more expensive than the previous tickets. All right, next story. Rider swap policy has changed. I'm going to throw to my good buddy, Bub, because this is not my area of expertise at all. So, Bub, explain this change to us.
Well, they just simply took a loophole and they closed the loophole is what they did. Drew, I know that we've used rider swap as like a 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th fast pass in the past.
Absolutely. If you plan it correctly, that's exactly what it is.
Correct.
Right? You can legit loophole the system. But go on.
So, basic understanding of rider swap is you go up to the fast pass cast member, I guess, and say, hey, we want to do a rider swap pass. If you don't have a fast pass for the attraction, you do have to wait at least once in the standard line. So that is the catch here. You don't automatically get to go into the fast pass lane unless you have a fast pass for that attraction already. So let's use Snow White's the Seven Dwarfs Mine Train as an example. Alex is too little to ride it, so we had a fast pass for it. So I went on with Zach in the fast pass. I came out of the ride. Megan went on with Zach. Zach got to ride it twice. If you have 2 kids, that loophole is still valid. You can do it either way. You can still use that the same way you're doing it.
And the beauty of that, Bob, is you only need one fast pass, right? So you and your wife can use one fast pass and use another one on a different, bid.
Whoa. I did not understand it. So as a hashtag childless millennial, you guys are out here with kids just getting extra fast passes to all these e-tickets because you could split the stream, so to say, and get your Seven Dwarfs Mine Train and your Space Mountain cake and eat it too. Yep. That is that's a little crazy. I did not know this was this big of a loophole.
You're still waiting twice though, Tim, in a way. It's not like you're getting a.
I think the biggest conception about this is the reason that I won't be going to Disney until both of my kids are ready to ride is you don't get to ride with the whole family. And it's very beneficial. It's fine. It works to get you through the park. And it's convenience and it's great. But at the end of the day, you're still, if I want to go on Splash Mountain with my wife, we got to bring someone with us to watch the kids because they can't just stand there and wait for us. So that's kind of the one drawback of rider swap. It's a minor drawback because, like you said, you're getting on all of these rides. Let's use Drew and Amy. Amy gets the Space Mountain Fast Pass, goes on with Zoe. Andrew waits with Evan. then Amy comes off. Andrew gets to go on through the fast pass lane with Zoe again. If you have 3 kids and 2 of them can go on, you can now only bring one person back with you to ride with you. In the past, if I went on with 2 kids that were the same size that could go on said ride, they could go back on with their mother. That is not the case anymore. They are limiting it to 1 guest and the parent that had to wait. So
correct.
Some kids may get extra rides on different attractions. Again, if you have 3 kids, it's going to be a little bit different for you, but
the other way, if you're thinking even bigger, if you had like 4 or 5 kids, God bless you. But if you had 2 kids that couldn't go on it, I wonder if you could technically get away with getting 2 rider swap passes.
Well, what you would do is you have to split the group up correctly.
You don't stand by the ice cream cart and let us go, and then you go do it.
But you'd still be waiting for them. It's not. You'd still be waiting.
You know what? You just hit something that I think never really occurred to me. Where you're right. I cannot tell you the last time I went on Splash Mountain with my wife.
Yeah,
it's probably been 10 years.
Yeah,
and that's unfortunately the crappy part of you say going to Disney with your family in a weird way. You don't get to standing in line with half a family. Right?
I think you're going to say that's the crappy part of having kids.
Oh, no.
The real Sophie's choice. Have kids or ride Splash Mountain with my wife for eternity. I mean,
it's not about just your wife, though, Bob, right? You're standing in line with half of your family.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
And then you go to the next ride. Maybe that's the ride you often go on. Then the next ride, you stand in line with half of your family.
Correct.
It's just...
Right.
Yeah, you're right.
So there are again minor drawbacks. It's a good system. I like the system, and I think it's good to close the loophole. I never really understood why it was okay for like a family of 5 that had 2 kids that go. They were just going right back on. 1 kid to go with the parent makes sense.
Yeah. So
now,
this sounds
if
like
you have the 1 child, then that person's just riding by themselves. That's it.
Both people. That's even worse. Yeah.
Correct. Yes.
So this is truly closing a loophole.
I don't know if it's closing a loophole. It's adjusting the system.
Right. Yeah. This is not a major policy change. For most guests, this system will function pretty much identical to how it did before. It's just less abusable.
In this country, the average family has 1.9 kids.
Yeah. And Bob, let's be honest. How many cast members have you gone to? They don't even know the rider swap system. They didn't even know it exists, or they don't understand it themselves.
I will tell you that for people that are standing at the attractions, they probably need to do a better job of explaining the rider swap system to them. I mean, Drew, we did this at Flight of Passage when we went with you.
Yes.
I rode by myself.
Yeah.
And then you, Amy, and Meg went on together.
That's right.
And I watched 4 kids in Pandora.
God bless Bob. Can we just give Bob a round of applause for at the time watching
I wish someone would have recorded that.
2-year-olds.
That's amazing.
2 4-year-olds in the gift shop great gift shop, by the way, top 10. But
top 10 gift shop.
Better the gift shop than the land itself. The land itself is kind of laid out like a maze. You lose one of those kids, he goes over a bridge, takes a turn, it's over.
And he's 2 strollers, the 2 bags, both of the older kids.
Yeah.
Luckily, we both had double strollers, so it wasn't a huge deal, but
we all know the Fast Pass or Flight of Passage is not a 10-minute wait.
Correct.
Well, it's probably a 10-minute walk. Probably a 45-minute wait for you by the time you get out.
Yeah, it was close. Yeah. It was great. It was a lot of fun.
Cocktails deep by the time we get out.
It was a lot of fun. All right, so that's all we have for the rider swap policy.
A lot more on that than I thought there was going to be. Luckily, this next one's a short one. We got the rest of the dates for the not yet opened Disney Resort hotels. That would be All-Star Music, September 16th. Disney's Port Orleans Resort, Riverside, October 14th. Disney's Port Orleans French Quarter, October 28th, 2021. And All-Star Sports, December 9th, 2021. That brings us to all the resorts fully operational again. Seen a lot of people really excited that Riverside has a reopening date, and French Quarter also, but Riverside seems to hold a special place in many, many Disneyland or Disney World fans' hearts.
Disneylandans.
So I did just see this real quick before we came on the air. It seems like the All-Star resorts are all getting lobby remakes as well.
I did see that.
They're
nice.
Taking a lot of the counters away, making them kind of podiums, and opening up those areas, because those are pretty congested hotels for as big as the lobbies are, because they're decent-sized lobbies.
Didn't they do that recently to Pop or someone? One of those?
Pop still counters. And
Yeah, I'm not
but
sure.
They were in the middle of refurbing music.
Maybe that's what
before
it
it
was.
closed. I don't know if they've ever finished it, but no one has been able to confirm or deny it.
Well, music was specifically called out as it will be ready by when they open in the article that I read. So, yeah, that's hey, if you're into the values, and we'll talk about, believe it or not, some of the value pools tonight. They're really a fun place to stay. So,
yeah.
Another couple quick items. PhilharMagic and Coco. For the first time since it opened in 2003, Mickey's PhilharMagic is getting a brand new scene inspired by a recent, well, maybe not so recent movie. Pixar favorite Coco will be added to the attraction, and guests will be able to see Donald and the cast of the film during a scene featuring all new score from film composer Jermaine Franco, as well as characters singing along to Un Poco Loco from the movie. This new scene will debut at the Magic Kingdom this fall as part of the 50th anniversary celebration. That sounds awesome. Hopefully this is a success. That's a great show that eats a lot of crowds, and I feel like is a little bit underrated. But hopefully this will lead to other minor updates to these digital first attractions like we see constantly with Star Tours, but for some reason not with any of these other digital forward attractions.
Are we allowed to say "Donde está Donald" with a margarita in our hand?
I mean, if you want to, you can.
Speaking of that, the refurbished animatronics have reappeared finally on that classic Epcot attraction.
Now, Tim, you have to imagine they're re-rendering this entire film, right?
I would hope so.
I would hope so. This was it definitely was not 4K.
No,
It may have not even been 1080p. I think it could have been close to standard def. So hopefully with this scene being added, this will get brought up, similar to how like the Muppets and Star Tours and some of the other 3D films have had remasters done to the digital projection.
Last question here, Bob. Over or under this scene goes 30 seconds.
The song's like 3.5 minutes.
Yeah, but there's no way they're doing the whole thing.
So I'm gonna go over. I'm gonna go like a minute and a half. Maybe like 90 seconds.
How long is like when they do a whole new world scene? I feel like that's like 20 seconds.
I don't know. I really like PhilharMagic though. It's a great
love it
show.
too.
So
Yeah,
any love it gets, I agree with Tim. I'm here for it. And this is actually coming to wherever this show is playing as well. If it's, I think there's one in Paris, a similar version, and Disneyland. They're actually getting it before we get it here.
Yep.
So I'm excited to see it. More Coco in the parks is good Coco in the parks, if you ask me.
And Coco is slowly returning to Epcot also. I know the mariachi band got new contract and stuff.
Oh, that's...
When can we just make Mexico the Coco Pavilion? At least it would make sense.
Yeah, no, that would be nice.
That's what blows our mind. I'm sidetracked there.
That is another show. Some Run Disney updates, mainly that Run Disney is back in person. Run Disney races will return to Walt Disney World Resort this fall, kicking off the Run Disney 21-22 race season with these 4 events. Disney Wine and Dine Half, November 4th through the 7th, 2021. Walt Disney World Marathon Weekend, January 5th through the 9th, 22. Disney Princess Half Marathon Weekend, February 24th through the 27th of 22. Run Disney Springtime Surprise Weekend, March 31st through April 3rd, 2022. All those dates normally sell out basically instantly. And this is after over a year of no Run Disney. So I don't even know how these races are going to go. I don't know what the status of that Disney running club that gave people priorities for reservations is.
And that sweet members only jacket you got.
And that sweet jacket. But definitely reach out to your travel professional if you are interested in any of these on-premise marathons or 5Ks, 10Ks, halves, whatever, because I think this will be the quickest ever sellout combined with the 50th anniversary. Now, if you are not looking to be on property for the marathon weekend, it was also announced that all Run Disney races this year will have a virtual option, allowing Run Disney fans across the country, some of whom are right here in New England. Andrew DeFusco, what do you think about this Run Disney virtual sticking around?
This is a little different. This is different. So currently they have the summer series going on, which is typically 5Ks. I believe right now this summer Lion King theme. You get the Lion King medals. So this is different. They're introducing what they're calling the virtual Disney wine and dine, which is a weird thing because how are you wining and dining virtually? But they have the 5K, which is I think Maleficent themed.
Jordana wines and dines virtually every weekend.
That's fair.
Not currently.
Not currently, but in the past.
Yes. But guys, what you want to look out for, registration is not open yet, but the virtual Disney Wine and Dine 10K this year is themed after Jack Skellington and Oogie Boogie. And it's going to cost you a little bit extra than normal. It's going to cost you $99, but you're going to get your 10K finisher medal. You do get a participant t-shirt. I'm not sure exactly what it looks like yet. Your digital bib, digital race tool kit, featuring printable mile markers. Bob, in case we want to go to Gorton Track and set them up, we could do that.
It's a little overrun over there now.
You get a virtual goodie bag and, of course, your virtual playlist. This is something I'm all in for. And then I'll just quickly say they have the half marathon, which is themed after Emperor's New Groove. And then they have the 2-course challenge, which is, I don't know, Ursula, and I'm not really sure what this means. You didn't. I don't know. I don't know. That's it. That's all I know, folks.
Oh, Drew saw that it was Jack Skellington themed. He knew he was signing up for it.
Hard stop there, Tim. That was it.
Yeah, it was. That was.
Hey, 10K is my limit.
The medals that go with these virtual races or the real races are really, really incredible. These races, the virtual ones, will also sell out because people love these medals. And they often command a high resale price on the eBay and the Facebook marketplace.
Yeah, I've got a set if anybody's interested from last year, if anyone's interested.
The park one.
The park series one.
There's good ones.
The park ones were very good last year. Other than that, we got some dining news. Disney has confirmed that fan favorite, extremely controversial, the dining plan will be back sometime. They put out a statement, said, in part, we know many of you are also wondering when the Disney dining plan plan packages will return. That's a tongue twister. While we're not quite ready to share an update on the timing, we are planning to bring this guest favorite option back at a later date. Yeah. So looks like they're probably trying to hammer out the details. There's still some restaurants in the parks that are either not open or not serving their regular menu, but expect some imminent information on the return of the Disney dining plan if that is something that you enjoy taking part in on your vacation. Quite the opposite. Universal Orlando Resort has permanently discontinued both of their dining plan options, which, unlike the Disney dining plan, was not controversial. It was basically universally hated. Yes. I even people who are like Disney sucks, Universal rocks diehards do not ever have anything good to say about this dining plan. Apparently, it was very difficult to use. It was a bad value. It did not have all the restaurants on it. It was just kind of a disaster. So Universal kind of saw the writing on the walls and said, maybe we don't bring that back. All right, guys, which one are we tackling next? Couple big stories to close out the news this week. Extra Magic Hours. Let's go with that next. Extra Magic Hours are back, sort of. Disney announced this way back January this year that Walt Disney World early entry will replace Extra Magic Hours. What we got, though, over this past couple weeks is the date it will kick off, which is October 1st, 2021, and give resort guests the first chance to enjoy select attractions at every theme park every day, 30 minutes before the park opens. So basically what that means is there's no more, this is the Extra Magic Hours park for the day, blah, blah, blah. If you are staying on property at a Walt Disney World resort, every park will be open 30 minutes earlier for you. which gives you a little bit of a head start to get the jump on some of those lines, or maybe knock out some of the shorter, less popular attractions in that first 30 minutes before the official rope drop. I think this was kind of an inability. This is definitely a downgrade from Extra Magic Hours, but with the Park Pass system, you would really force guests to get on-property guests to all try and get the same park for a Park Pass if you were only doing if you were only going to do Extra Magic Hours at one park per day, like back when it existed. So unfortunately, I think this is a necessary evil, at least as long as the Park Pass system exists. On the other hand, there was a surprise in the Extra Magic Hours early entry announcement, which was not announced in the original announcement back in January, which was guests staying at deluxe or deluxe villa hotels, aka the DVC hotels, will also be able to enjoy extended evening hours on select nights and select parks. Extended evening hours will begin in early October with specific dates and parks to be shared upcoming. This was certainly the more controversial part of the announcement, even amongst us here at the Disney Guys Uncensored. My view on this is Disney giving a little bit something extra to a group of people who are, maybe paying a little bit more for their Disney vacation. And yeah, it's not open to everybody, but if you're one of those people, then it's a perk. If it's not for you, it's not for you. I think Drew has something to say, and then Jordan, and then Bub.
I'm going to say I give it to May 1st, and this perk will no longer be valid. They will discontinue it. And I'll also say, for the sake of our listeners, and I respect your time, that I have no comments on this subject. Jordana, the floor is yours.
Okay. Well, thank you. So I will say that when it comes to Universal versus Disney and that whole kind of, constant battle, if you have a deluxe resort on Universal property, you get the free express pass. I feel like they were deluxe resorts at Disney World didn't have as many perks as they should. So I think this is kind of their way of maybe getting a little bit more even and giving a little bit more to clients staying in deluxe resorts. I still think that deluxe resorts stayers deserve a little bit more, but I don't know. I understand it, I guess.
Bob?
I, like Andrew, will respect our listeners' opinions. We've been talking about news for 35 minutes or so, so I will make it short and sweet. The policy both sucks and blows, and I don't give a crap about the deluxe people. Oh, they have to. No. This perk, and I will say this, has existed since 1995 in some way, shape, or form to cut off 2/3 of your going public because you want to cater to those people at the deluxe and deluxe villa hotels. Fine. They made the choice to stay there. Some people cannot stay there. It's not within their means on a once-in-a-lifetime trip.
Nor want
to. To essentially lock them out of that perk, despite this being a new perk, as Tim would try to sell me on, it's disingenuous on Disney's end, in my opinion. But I also hate the early morning half hour. That's not enough time to barely get in the park. So it's just, why bring it back at all? I'm not a fan of any of how they handled it. I think the wording of the press release sucked. I didn't like anything about it. But at the end of the day, if you were on Discord with us 2 weeks ago, it got much more heated than this, and I will leave it at that.
All right, and last story
that is why you should join Discord, folks. It is free for everybody. Free. There's no little
And then you can hear Bub's true Disney Guys very uncensored feelings on this perk.
And a lot of other things.
Yeah, and then a bunch of things. And very funny memes from former co-host Jay. And all sorts of breaking news gets shared in the Discord. So sign up for that, folks. It is a blast. And it is free for everyone. Last piece of news this week, another kind of big one. FastPass Plus will not be returning at Disneyland Paris. It will be replaced with a system named Disney Premier Access. Sounds kind of similar to something else.
Who's in this marketing department, Tim? It's not us.
No, I mean, it certainly
this is unbelievable.
Service will be available on the Disneyland Paris app this summer and will allow guests the ability to skip the regular queue line for select attractions, which is a mix of thrill rides, Disney classics, Peter Pan and Snow White, and experiences for the whole family. The passes for different attractions will vary from €8 to €15, which at press time is $9.50 to $17.75 American. The price is per guest, and the attraction will vary based on attraction and date of visit. Access can be purchased once a guest is inside the park via the app or from a cast member if you do not have a smartphone. Bob, what do you think?
I love it. I'm here for it. I love it.
I am also super here for it. I saw so many people mad online about this, but if this kills FastPass domestically, I will welcome our Premier Access overlords and high five Bob Chapek myself. So, rub that bald head if I were Steve in the park. Shine that bad boy up.
I was speaking to Drew today. I was doing the news stuff, and I said, Drew, it's per attraction. So you can just I don't want to wait 2 hours for Splash Mountain. Here's $10. Let me cut the line. It's incredible. I love it.
It would be more incredible if the cost went up based on the hour wait.
Oh, great. Plus, love it. Great.
4 hour wait. It's going to cost a little bit more money.
So to be honest,
love it.
The price is the press release says the price varies per attraction and day, which tells me it's based on some sort of a dynamic, like the crowd calendars. We know we know that Disney has this data. So I would not be surprised if that isn't the case, that maybe it starts out per day, it changes, but we could see hour by hour changes to dissuade people from, certain attractions sort of thing.
So, I mean, it's all about value in your time, right? I mean, Tim, how much would you pay for you and Rachel to go on Splash Mountain if there was a 2.5 hour wait?
I probably would pay for that because, my time, you can very easily assign a dollar value to your time and then decide if you would like to pay dollar value meets that value equation.
This is very similar to how I feel about minivan.
Yeah,
that's fair.
You've been an advocate for minivan for years.
Yep.
And that's what people say. You have a free option. Sure. You have free transportation. It might take a little bit longer. It's not as comfortable.
I respect the irony and understanding that me and Drew are arguing for this change, and we are against the people paying more at the deluxes getting access to the park at night.
But I think all we were saying about the other one is give us the option to pay for that perk as well.
I don't disagree with that.
We don't have that option. You have to stay at the resort.
Right.
Jordana used the Universal Match Pass theme, right?
So that's what I wanted to get back to with Jordana, because Jordana, do you like the per day, per guest, per attraction, or do you want to see something along the lines of what Disneyland does with the Max Pass, whatever the hell they call it out in Disneyland? Would you prefer a vacation card that you got into that, like Universal does? Would you prefer that, or do you like this method better?
I think I would prefer the Max Pass, honestly. I just think that from what I've heard for people that have gone over there and clients that have gone there, it's just very, very convenient. And it's just, you don't have to think about it with every day and what price is it today and what price is it for this one.
Right.
It's just a solid price. I thought it was going that way. So.
Yeah.
You have to assume that if you pay for any of these now there's no other way to get a fast pass besides this. So you have to assume it's pretty much a walk-on.
Right.
If you pay.
You would think, unless a lot of people are willing to spend $15 to $18 to ride Star Tours.
Which, I mean,
at that different time, though.
$7 on a water bottle, you might as well spend $20 on a ride.
Now, Jordana, as a travel professional, if something like this, or my feeling is that basically they have Max Pass out in Disneyland. They're introducing this at Disneyland Paris. And that kind of lets them see how both those things play out and then maybe decide on if FastPass Plus is going to change at Walt Disney World eventually, or if it will be replaced with a system like this or a system like MaxPass or some third option we don't know about yet. But does not having fast passes and a fast pass day, that's got to relieve a little bit of pressure on you as a travel professional, since I know sometimes guests have you do that for them, so they're not the one waking up and having to do that scramble.
Most of the time I'm doing the dining and the fast pass reservations for my clients. So it's been another break for during this COVID period of not having to get up twice for a reservation to book those. But I think that, something's coming, but just because they have all these queues, obviously, that say fast line versus just regular line and stuff like that, they have to replace it with something eventually. And I just think the crowds that are going back to normal, it's just throwing off. In the beginning, it wasn't that bad because crowds were so low that you were still getting on the ride in 20, 30, 40 minutes. And now it's kind of, I don't know. Now they definitely need to put something in the park.
Well, it's interesting you're talking about that because the Disney Image Makers, we had them on the show a year and a half ago or so, Drew. We talked about Disney Vacation Club. They're down there right now. They're a great follow if you're not following them on Facebook. And they are down there, and it's a 45-minute wait at Everest, but they are literally past Finding Nemo, waiting in line still. Because they still have some spacing and the way the queues are still set up. So,
but there's no fast pass. So that's what
correct.
It's
correct.
It's just the one line.
Everyone's just in the line, and that line is long, but it is very narrow. So you can't just fit groups of people.
And there's a lot of corners, and it's tough spacing.
So it is at some point something's got to give. Something has to give with what they're doing down there, because by all accounts the parks are getting more crowded as we speak. And look no further than the Halloween party. There's only like 12 nights available, even after they'd released the other passes for the Halloween events. 14 or 15 nights are already sold out again. Almost every night in October is sold out. People are going to Disney. I mean, that's
spending money.
Yes.
This is the time to introduce this. People don't mind spending money right now.
Yep.
Anywho, Tim.
So, Tim, I think that's it. But
that is all the news fit to print for the last 2 weeks. Thanks for chilling with us and getting through that. On to our main topic.
Yeah, we're talking pools tonight. It's summer. You wouldn't know it up in New England. It's a little humid, but it's been like 70 degrees and raining. Like we live in Seattle for the last 3 weeks.
That's fair.
But listen.
Actually, Seattle is like 119 degrees and in the middle of a drought.
Right, that's fair. I heard the weatherman say for the first time that he can recall in the last like 5 or 6 years, we have a rain surplus in this area right now. Yeah. So
my lawn and my garden are loving it. I've never mowed as much as I mowed this summer.
It's incredible. It's incredible. So I don't know if you guys know this. Drew actually put a Disney pool in his backyard over the last year. So
that's fair.
So the contemporary pool.
Yeah, that's correct. Don't worry.
It's messed up, Tim. It's messed up.
I have some questions for you guys before we get into our favorite pools, because we did kick around a spreadsheet of silliness, just so you know. And we weren't satisfied. I don't know if we weren't satisfied, but it became the point of let's talk about pools that we really like instead of pools that we think arbitrarily look nice or have good features. Like, for instance, in this effort, no value resorts made the list, and there were 2 or 3 or 4 value resorts that got votes that we kind of thought, if you're going to the value resorts, this is what you should look for in the pool. And this concept did evolve into, this hotel has this pool, and this is why you should stay there based on our experiences, instead of it being something that is from Wikipedia that you can find by searching a Disney's website or somewhere like that. So first off, guys and girls, I want to know what makes a great pool. And as always, Jordana, ladies first. Is it the lounge? Is it other amenities? Is it the slide and water features? In your couple of words, what makes a great pool?
Great pool bar. No, I'm just kidding.
I mean, that's fair, though. Swim up. Part of the conversation.
That's what Disney needs, swim up pool bars.
Yes. Disney does need to. That would be a phenomenal idea. But now with the point we're in our lives and we have toddlers, I think the most important feature for me personally is like the splash pad area. And like looking at those types of features, as well as just, the, what do they call those? The pools that you can kind of walk into.
Zero entry.
Zero entry, yes. Sorry, the word was escaping me. But the zero entry pools are really easy with toddlers as well. So those are two main amenities I kind of look for.
Yeah, that's fair. Tim, what about you? You and Rachel, different demographic than Jordana and her family. What do you guys think makes a great pool?
So I'm definitely going to highlight this in the pools that I've personally chosen to bring to the table this week, but either great bar, great total package, plenty of lounge chairs, nice view, nice pool, someplace that I could spend the whole day and be satisfied with, or vice versa, just a pool that's big enough to, take a dip in, move around in after a long hot day at the park, but not necessarily doesn't need to be the holistic, this pool can entertain me all day. So I guess in both cases, it's the total package, and it's just what that package you're looking for is in that specific pool that day.
Drew, what about you? What makes a great pool? You just built a pool in your backyard. What makes a great pool to you?
Well, nothing that I have, but slides. I'm a slide guy. I want some water features. I want to be whizzing down the water slide. Not whizzing. That's the wrong word.
Yeah, that's not. That's a lot of work.
Nope, not good. Nope, not. Let's rewind that for a second.
No.
I like cruising down the water slides. I love the
cruising down the water slides.
Cruising, not oozing, cruising. I think there's a C there. I think
there was a C. But Jordana, the zero entry, which again is like the beach, right? You're walking into the pool. That's amazing for any age. I did get kicked out. I'll save that story for later on. But yeah, it's that's a must. I think every pool on property should have that now. Not just for the infants, but sometimes you just want to sit in the pool.
Sometimes we're Drew. Sometimes
I want to sit in the pool. I want to sit down, But yeah, and of course the lounge. The lounge in the area is nice, but I don't, in a way, the lounge is always located near the pool, but I don't look at that as a pool. I will say right off the bat, when I booked my Disney trip, the pool plays a major impact on where I stay.
Then a follow-up question for you.
Yes.
Does the pool facility influence your hotel decision? And do you plan your vacation around a pool day?
Well, you guys know how I like to plan my Disney days. Mm-hmm. I go in the pool every single day when I'm on a Disney vacation. It's usually like that 4 to 6 o'clock thing before we go out to dinner. So it's it 100% impacts where I stay, and it 100% impacts my daily plans from fast passes to dining reservations to everything. So it's a big part of my decision when I go to Disney. Because let's just say Disney pools are nothing like you ever see anywhere else.
Correct. So, Tim, same question. Does the pool influence your hotel? I know you kind of spent a lot of your time at your family's condo and stuff, so it's a little bit different. But when you guys book Disney, does the pool influence your hotel decision? And do you plan a day specifically for pool use, or do you, like Drew, use every afternoon as a quick dip?
So this is new to me. In the last 2 years, 2.5 years now, I guess, we've been staying on property a lot more. And previously, especially since we stayed off property, we'd only do 3 or 4 park days in like a 7 or 8 day vacation. I was always built around like go, rope drop to fireworks, go crazy on our Disney days. And we kind of kept that mentality when we started staying on property. But the difference was we were on property for 7 or 8 days with a 6 or 7 day park hopper and still trying to go. And it was fun for the couple of the first times, but then we realized we were just doing too much. So these last couple trips, we certainly haven't picked. We did pick one resort around the pool, but we stayed at the Polynesian, and that was just a resort altogether that I've always wanted to stay at. The pool is a major part of that, but that was the first time I built a pool day into our vacation, and it was such a great experience that it is something I will do in the future when I stay on property. Interestingly, though, before we actually did the pool day, I was like, do we want to just add another day to these tickets? Like, was this a mistake? And it just ended up that the park pass, there wasn't anything that we super wanted available, but I definitely do not regret taking that pool day. Like that was a value add and overall made the vacation better. So that is certainly something I see myself doing in the future. And because of that, I think the pool and the pool area will become a bigger part of my booking decisions for on property trips.
So, Jordan, I'd ask you the same question, but I'm not going to. I'll ask you the same question, but I want to know from a planning standpoint, in your position, do families that you book for ask you about pools? Does that influence families and decisions at hotels? And do you encourage people to plan a pool day? And then you can answer for yourself, too, if you and Guy and Sal do that as well.
So it depends how long they're staying. Usually, so like if they're staying, a solid week or a Saturday or Sunday through Saturday, I'll say, okay, let's start off with 4 park days. You can have that middle day to do the pool day. I usually kind of say you're going to need a break, especially for those first time families who are trying to go. And by day 2, they have the Disney rash on their legs and their ankles are, the size of softballs. So I always kind of suggest that you're going to need that break in the middle of your vacation. But usually they kind of agree with me. Like, I don't know how my kids are going to adjust to this go lifestyle, even though they're having a blast. They might need that break as well.
Yeah. And when you guys book, do you guys look at the hotel?
So we usually do. It depends though, because like for our trip in February, we have 7 park days, but it's because once you get past the 5 park day, like the tickets are super cheap.
Pennies on the dollar.
Yeah, I believe once you add the 8th park day, it costs $7 more per person.
Exactly. So we just have it, but we're still mentally thinking that in the middle, we might go to Epcot for dinner, or it's not going to be that full park day. We'll just have the ticket there. So that's also something that it's in the back of our mind, but we do have that extra park day, I guess.
All right. So some of these pools we're going to talk about tonight, and I think a lot of pools on property have like cult-like followings. People love the pools at Disney, and Drew touched on it. There's nothing like a Disney pool. They're absolutely incredible. Did Disney miss the mark on this by not having like pins and T-shirts and hats specific to the pool areas? Now I know some of the resorts have. I think Old Key West has some, and I think it's a bigger question at large for resort merchandise in general, specific to the resort you're staying at, that they've gone away from and made a lot of things just generic. But I feel like there's a market out there for Disney to have pins with the slide from Boardwalk on it or something to that effect. Drew, I know you're a figures guy, you're a money guy. Write a letter or get an email to Bob Chapek and let him know.
See what I can do. I'll put that together.
Yeah, I mean, so do we think they should do this, or is this something that just me being a wishful thinking?
No, I think there's iconic stuff, right? We're gonna talk about the balloon pool, right? A lagoon tonight. Yeah, I mean that's iconic. You can see the giant sea serpent from the boats when you go to downtown Disney. That's kind of a famous that aqua color sea serpent, right? And you want to know more about that. So I guarantee, Bob, if there was a pin, hell, I might even buy it. And
T-shirt, you'd buy a T-shirt.
You put some silly slogan with it. I mean, they all have an iconic type something about it, right?
There's a feature at almost every pool.
You don't want to say landmark, but in a way, it's something, So yeah, I think there's potential. I mean, I'm not a pin collector. I mean, do they have really hotel ones like that, or not really? I mean,
they have hotel ones. They just don't have pool specific ones, which some of these pools are iconic. I guess my opinion on this is, did you guys know what the most trending thing on Disney Twitter was today? Not like official, like Diz Twitter.
Nope.
It was some guy had pictures of one of each item of the merch from the Adventurers Club and one of each item of the first round of Trader Sam's merch. And this was like the most trending thing on Disney Twitter today. Right. The parks fans go nuts, not for the rides and the lands. The more niche and the more this is my little special corner of Disney that you can claim, the better. And that is the sort of things that I know personally, I think Bub too, really get into, and it kind of drives our Disney fandom. So yeah, I think it's totally nuts so that Disney doesn't have a pin with the SpaghettiOs clown on it with the date, 2020, or even one of those pin, that opens up and you see now it's got the Mickey art on it. Yep. I mean, that, or a lava pool mug in the shape of the volcano slide.
Yep.
I mean, it just boggles the mind that they don't, because these pools do have cult-like followings. People do plan their vacations around them. And I know a lot of younger people book one night on a split stay at some of these deluxes that they couldn't afford to do more than that on, just so they can have their pool day at one of these pools that their whole life they said, oh, I've always wanted to stay at the Polynesian or the Boardwalk or Yacht and Beach to use that pool. And Disney's just missing an opportunity on this.
Jordan, I'm sure you probably agree with the sentiment here.
I totally agree.
So this one's just for Tim. Tim, what is the worst pool on property and why is it the Contemporary?
Well, it absolutely is the Contemporary. And it's because it is one of the most expensive and prestigious deluxe hotels, and somehow the pool is worse in every aspect. Theming, design, like the bar, the atmosphere, the slide. The slide looks worse than like a Six Flags New England water park slide pre-refurbishment of that water park.
Pre-Hurricane Harbor.
Yeah, exactly.
So when the slides were in the back of the woods,
and it was
where
still
the
called
raft ride
Riverside.
is now.
Riverside Country, baby.
Riverside Park, and then it was you sat on those like plastic sleds when you went down the slide.
Yes.
And
I mean this pool is awful, and it's just shocking that this is like, why does the Contemporary Resort, they have not torn this out and put an infinity pool in that has like a view of the Magic Kingdom or the lagoon? Like, it just blows the mind.
I got to imagine that's coming soon with all these remodels coming right now.
I would hope so. It's just crazy because all the other deluxes have iconic pools, and I have never heard anybody mention the Contemporary pool. And on our Contemporary episode last week or 2 weeks ago, it became very obvious why. The pool just sucks.
And I will say that as someone who's staying in the Contemporary in February, I actually looked at the doing a split stay at Port Orleans French Quarter just based on our conversation and looking at the pools this week and stuff. I was like, it does suck, and it's a money. Now it's like becoming a money missing opportunity for Disney, where I'm going to take my deluxe stay money and I'm going to put it into a moderate because they have a better pool.
I mean, French Quarters it's amazing. There's everything about that resort.
That's an interesting segue for moderates, because in my opinion, based on what you get out of the moderate pools and how they're themed, and they're all very well themed. We're going to talk about 4 of them tonight, I think. And what else is in that general area, because they're not as spread out as the deluxe. The moderates have the best pool facilities on property. Doesn't mean they have the best pools on property. There's a difference here.
Yep.
But in terms of facilities and total usage of space, the moderates are the best pools on property for the value on the dollar. But that's an interesting segue too. A resort we don't talk about much on this show, guys.
We don't.
And it's a shame, because it is. I love this resort. It is rather large. It's Coronado Springs. Probably the best pool on property, pound for pound. It was number 1 on our spreadsheet of silliness by like 2 or 3 points. It is the Lost City of Cibola, and it is Mayan ruins themed. So, Tim, similar to what the Poly has going on with the pyramid, with the volcano. This has the big Mayan temple, similar in style. Slide through the temple. Jaguar spits at you. It's fantastic. It's a lot of fun. It's a 123-foot slide, which is somewhere in the middle of the Disney slides. But Drew, what I think me and you, when we were talking about pools a lot this week for some reason, and we were talking about what else comes with a pool. This has the biggest hot tub on property. It's got the dig site, which is like a sandbox to dig out fossils and whatnot. It's got a beautiful bar area. Siesta's pool bar is really, really nice right there. They've got the arcade, Drew, is right there. The Iguana Arcade, and the kiddie pool is also there, the kiddie section. And, of course, beach volleyball courts if you're into it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's literally the center of the resort, and this isn't the exception to this rule for the moderates, is this pool complex. It is fantastic. I don't know that you guys have a ton of experience in this resort. I have stayed there. I've been in this pool. It is a great pool, and it's probably my second favorite pool. So we'll talk about the other one later on.
But you're right. I don't have a ton of experience with it. But again, in our research this week, this is now on my radar for next trip to Disney. Just for the pool itself. I mean, like you said, Coronado kind of does go under the radar a lot. I don't know why.
And the new tower is beautiful. Grand Destino is beautiful.
Yeah. The Coronado, I think, goes under the radar, at least for me and my trip planning. It's the convention hotel. I mean, it's absolutely massive. It is the polar opposite of the tight Port Orleans resorts as far as mileage go. It is often full of, people for, the back surgeons of Northeast Ohio convention and, Las Vegas Audi, just these random trade shows where maybe the people aren't even going to the parks. And very much the theming and atmosphere of that resort reflect that. But one, it's the only moderate, I believe, with a hot tub. That is like very much Disney separates that as a deluxe thing.
Well, some have some, but I wouldn't call them hot tubs.
This is the largest hot tub on property.
Right.
This is the largest hot tub on property, period.
And this is also, in my research, this is the only moderate that has a full gym facility. Correct. Also, both things because of the convention atmosphere that it has, but both big perks. I will say about this one, my research this week definitely has influenced me to consider this very strongly for my next Walt Disney World trip. There's this one publicity shot of a Disney pool that Disney has used for years. I had no idea it was this pool. It's this striking shot of looking through two pieces of the ruins at the temple itself at night with everything in the water all lit up. And it's always been my favorite shot of a Disney pool. Yeah. I had no idea it was Coronado Springs. Never would have guessed in a million years that pool was that beautiful and that well themed. So this is pretty high on my list as someplace to check out.
Tim, I'd like to think of a word, and as you were going on about the facilities they have, because this is one of those resorts that I think on our end deserves a deeper dive. I think we may need to do that at some point.
I think you're right.
It's a very sophisticated design for a Disney hotel, especially for a moderate. It isn't playful. It isn't very whimsical. Very sophisticated. And I will tell you, you don't get a ton of families there. You really, really don't for that reason. You do. It's a big hotel, so you obviously have families there. But it's not like French Quarter or Riverside or Caribbean Beach, Drew. It really isn't. And I think, Jordana, how many people have you booked Coronado Springs for?
I mean, I think you're right. I think this is more for older families with like teenagers and stuff like that, rather than younger kids, or just Disney adults that go there. And honestly, I always lead them towards the tower because the tower is
tower. It's so nice. It's beautiful.
It's a deluxe at moderate prices.
The tower during the NBA bubble finals.
Yeah.
The tower is where they put the top seeded teams.
Yeah.
They did not put the good teams in the deluxes. They put the good teams in the tower. They said, this is what we want to show the superstars of the NBA.
Mediocre teams get stuck at the Grand Floridian for reasons that are beyond my control.
Bottom-ranked teams did get stuck at the Grand Floridian.
Jordana, what's the pricing for these compared to moderates? Is this like on the higher end? It's like $400 a night? Like what's...
No. I mean, like if you get into like the tower and like the really nice studios, you might be pushing $400 a night. But the other thing is it's a very large resort, so the standard rooms are probably in comparison to Caribbean Beach.
Yep.
But once you get to the preferred rooms and the tower rooms, those types of rooms, it does get up in price.
I would tell you the preferred room I think is like $265.
Yeah.
Okay, that's reasonable.
Which is close to like the Pepper Market.
To like pirate or royal rooms.
It's not obscene. It's not obscenely expensive. But we are getting sidetracked already. This is only pool number one. But Coronado Springs, check it out. That beautiful pool. Second pool on the list, remarkably, is my favorite pool on the list, Drew. It is a place that me and you are very familiar with. It is Port Orleans Riverside. At least we used to be when it was Dixie Landings, and I've stayed there a couple of times now. Old Man Island. And Drew, I do appreciate you reaching out to me after you did your research saying, Man, you're right. This has everything. I mean, it's got the fishing hole. It's got the hammocks. It's got a little hot tub. It's got like a sawmill design, kind of a rusticy feel to it. I will say, Jordana, very lucky. One of the great pool bars at Muddy Rivers. One of the best. You walk right up to it. It's not a swim up, but I mean, it literally sits on the edge of the pool. It is a great little place to sit, grab a drink, watch the game while you're there. Fantastic. Again, for me, this is the number one pool complex. I love it. In terms of favorites, I love everything about it. Jordana, you got to send people here.
Yeah, I think now that they're opening, and the thing is, like, I don't know if you guys realize, when I became a travel agent in September of 2019, it was only 6 months before COVID hit, and I feel like I'm starting my travel career all over. So I'm learning more about these, Port Orleans that I never got to actually book, and now that I'm learning more about them and redoing everything, this is on my bucket list. It is, especially for the pools. Yeah. This one and Port Orleans French Quarter. But yeah.
So one thing for me with Old Man Island is if you get into the really, really, really deep lore of the Port Orleans complex as a whole, French Quarter and Riverside, there's such a great story to tell at this resort. Drew, we did 2 hours on this resort.
We did. We went pretty detailed.
Fantastic episode.
And if you want even more, portorleans.org.
Yes.
Right,
great guys.
They have some guys that we've reached out to a couple times, and they just have a fabulous website with every little piece of information you need to know about the resort. But yeah, the rich history, the design. Bubba actually let me rewind. Ditsy Landon's, our parents,
back in the day,
was kind of this prior to they redid all these, but Bubba introduced me to Port Orleans French Quarters, and that became probably one of my favorite properties to stay at. It has every amenity you would ever need. But like Tim said, and you said, don't listen to the episode. I have no idea what episode number that was, so don't even ask.
It was a while back, but it was a good. It still holds up. If I can say so myself, very entertaining episode. A lot of fun with that episode. Tim, anything here? Because I know that you've said it a couple of times tonight, that you've only recently begun to really explore staying on property because you had the condo. Understood. It's not, you weren't doing it maliciously. You just had different accommodations. You've agreed that Coronado Springs is on your new short list of places. Is Port Orleans making that list? Is Riverside making that list, or are you a little off on it?
Whichever is the small one, and I always get these
French Quarter. Yeah,
French Quarter. Okay, that is on my list. It's amazing. I really want to try that one. Our next on property at Walt Disney World is almost certainly going to be a tower room at Coronado.
Yep.
But French Quarter is pretty high on my list as something to try out.
My favorite resort.
I will tell you this: if you and Rachel do not have little ones and you're leaving Oreo at home, French Quarter is a great little place. It's very tight, very compact. It's a very, dare I say, Drew, romantic resort.
Well, last time I was at French Quarter, I believe, was with Bub and his family, and we had probably the best room on property. I mean, on property. It was literally like the third room from the lobby.
And it's
pool.
We could do another Port. We could do a Port Orleans episode every week, and I'd be happy with it. So we're gonna switch to Drew's favorite.
Jordana's as well.
Drew's favorite resort, maybe. It's close.
Let's not push it. Let's not push favorite resort.
One of the most respected pools on property, and one that I think Tim was assuming was going to rank very highly on the list, and
I did
rank very highly on our official spreadsheet of silliness that we kind of scrapped at the last minute. This is Fuentes del Moro over at the Caribbean Beach. Drew, I've never stayed here. I've seen the pool in passing. It's an awesome setup at the Spanish Fort, the water cannons. It's a massive complex itself. I'm going to let you talk about it a little bit. And I know Jordana wants to talk about banana hammocks or something.
She will in a minute. So the thing with Caribbean Beach Resort, which you need to understand, which Jordana and I went well in depth with, it's one of the largest resorts on property. You either need to make a decision up front. Are you going to be staying near the pool and lobby and such, or are you staying wherever you want, or possibly near the skyline, right? That's what you don't understand. It's the Caribbean Beach, so that's the first problem. But this pirate paradise is amazing. it has everything that as a child and adult you want. It has, it's legit a fortress, right? And the way that you can explore even the towers and the fortress, it's amazing. And it's so amazing that it has really like 3 major fortress structures. 2 of them have individual water slides. So not 1, but 2 pretty amazing water slides. Tim, if I remember correctly, this has a very deep section. Maybe it's only 5'5", but I remember.
Tim is very concerned about the depth of these pools.
No, so I should have brought that up at the beginning. The one thing I will say, Disney pools are great. They go above and beyond comparable hotels pools pretty much across the board. But out of a bizarre abundance of caution, way above and beyond, especially since these pools all have a lifeguard during operating hours, if not 2 or 3 lifeguards at all times. And yet the deep end, quote unquote, of most Disney pools is 4.5 feet. And apparently the Pirate Paradise is really rocking the boat Disney-wise and might be as deep as 5'5", people.
Might be
5'5".
Hey,
the shallow end of your YMCA pool is the deepest deep end
Tim,
on Walt Disney World
during
property.
the rainy season. It may get to 5'9", but like I said, this has the 0 entry. It has a newer, amazing kids area. So if you do have kids, it has the the bucket
selling point.
It's huge. It has a few slides, the climbing, the nets, the bucket of water that falls over every few minutes. But the slides has a dart slide, and it has an open air slide. It's just everything about it is it's really well designed. It's a lot of fun exploring to do. But I will say, Jordana, Banana Cabana.
Oh, sorry, I was close.
Is an amazing lounge bar. I will say I have sat at that bar by myself watching the Boston Bruins game. I'll never forget it. But they have some amazing stuff.
So I will say, on top of the Boston Bruins, I was sitting there with my mom, and this is one of my best memories at Disney. Is my son and my husband were back in the room, and me and my mom were sitting there, and we were having all these pretty frozen drinks watching the Patriots play, and we met another couple, or a couple that was with from Massachusetts. Yeah. So we were hanging out with them, and it was just a lot of fun. But I really like the theming of this, and I think that the music in the background, it's just very Caribbean feels. Obviously with the name, but
did we agree the hot tub is on par with a Comfort Inn? It's probably one of the worst.
It's a 12-person.
It's just a circle hot tub that's like.
What do you want in a hot tub?
I mean, I don't really need one in Florida. I don't know.
Some people love that though. Some people, that's their favorite way to do the hot tub is on those super hot days. You just go in and it's even hotter in the hot tub.
Tim, you've been to Disney. There's no such thing being at a Disney resort relaxing in a hot tub. You have kids doing cannonballs in them, for God's sake.
Oh yeah,
It's like they don't. It's not a relaxing.
I bet you that big hot tub at the Coronado Springs is maybe a little bit more chill. But you're right. Yeah. Like the hot tub at one of these places, the Poly. You're going to have kids running and jumping into the hot tub, mostly because it's deeper than the deep end of the pool. But,
exactly. Yeah.
So for this one, we talked about it is 0 entry as well, and I know you guys are big fans of the 0 entry.
And learn from a lesson here. Do not try to bring one of your frozen fun drinks that Joanna talked about through that area.
That's against the rules.
They've made a very distinct line. They've drawn a line, which pretty much is no beverages beyond this point.
Yeah,
so
that makes sense.
Learn that the hard way.
They don't want glasses in the pool.
Well, they don't want you spilling, right? Yeah,
I guess. So from one of the most revered pools on property at Caribbean Beach to one of the most frightening and revered pools on Disney property, and that's of course, Jordana, one of mine and your favorite. Now, Tim, you've lamented the loss of SpaghettiOs the Clown for a year now. The Luna Park pool at Boardwalk. And let me preface this by saying, living on the Eastern Seaboard, and Tim, I know you're closer to Jersey than we are, nails the theming here. This pool in an Atlantic City carnival theme It's not as seedy as Atlantic City.
Right, I mean, you're not going to get stabbed at this pool.
No, right. But in terms of the colors and the brightness of it all, and the roller coaster slide that's 210 feet long, it's a great pool. The big thing here, not much else to do except go in the pool in this location. It's very odd to me. They have a little whirlpool spa over in the corner, and they got a little snack bar there as well. But really the big point for me was Spaghetti-O the Clown, and now he's gone. So I never want to go here again. But they did replace it. The mural is nice, Tim. Can we agree with that?
It is.
I mean, now they corrected the spelling error on it.
That is also true.
Yeah.
That is also true. So, Jordana, here we are. We're at this massive, massive wooden roller coaster setup. It is a water slide. Awesome stuff at this resort. Yeah. Awesome stuff at this pool.
And I will say they have the kiddie pool as well, but next to the kiddie pool is also the playground. So yes. I think just making that convenient and having it all kind of in one area made it, I don't know, a little bit easier, I'm sure, for parents. But I think I like Spaghetti-O the Clown. Scared the absolute crap out of me. I'm not a clown person. I do like how they brought Mickey and Minnie and back into, the hotel, and they kind of have that whole scene. Plus the slide looks awesome.
Do you think the theme it also has like the circus theme, right? It has the elephant.
It's an Atlantic City boardwalk where, there was circuses and stuff at the time it's trying to replicate.
But I'm saying, do you think now with this new edition that we see it start changing a little bit even more?
It should. If they want to keep it on theme. Because Spaghetti-O the Clown worked with the elephant spraying water and stuff. It really did. It was bizarre, but it worked.
But now you have two different types of animation
again, if you look at the story here that short is telling, is that they did go actually to this Atlantic City destination. That's kind of the concept of it. So I don't know if they'll ever change the elephants out, but they could, and I don't think it would diminish the pool area.
As long as they keep the nanny chairs in the lobby and the cast members move them to random locations in the lobby, I'll be fine. If you don't know what I'm talking about, folks, Google
awesome.
boardwalk nanny chairs. They're not the most horrifying thing you've ever seen. They're not specifically terrifying and baffling as to why something like this would be in a Disney resort. But just Google nanny chairs.
I don't know if I want to do that. I don't know if that could come up anything dirty on that one, Tim. I don't know.
Just nanny chairs boardwalk if you're worried about it.
So we're taking a short walk down the boardwalk, Drew. And I snuck this one, and this was not on our original list, but I was thinking about it tonight when I was having dinner.
I don't think we can't not talk about
it. We can't not talk about the water park at the resort.
Yeah.
Because that's what this is.
It's more like the resort at the water park.
Yeah, it's like the water park is the main feature here. Yes. Because it's, of course, Stormalong Bay at the Yacht and Beach Club, which is literally walking distance from the Atlantic Dance Hall. Shout out to Atlantic Dance Hall. You're welcome. It's a 3-acre water area. This is a sand bottom pool, multiple slides, a 230-foot long slide, by the way, and one of the highest and longest at a resort. A lazy river, Drew. 3 whirlpool spas, elevated tanning decks. I mean, this is legitimately a water park at Yacht and Beach Club. It's incredible. This one, however, they've tricked it. Drew used to be a big fan of pool hopping, which is kind of like park hopping and resort hopping, but frowned upon. And you cannot do this.
Totally has gone away now during COVID.
Yes, you cannot do this ever there. You need proof of
occupancy.
Proof of occupancy at this resort, whether it's your key to the magic card or your watch or your magic band if you're still using those. So you have to have proof of occupancy here. Fantastic though, Drew. What a place. Sand bottom pool. I'm in. It's great stuff.
I'm all in on this. I wish I could go. I mean, they have a life-size shipwreck replica.
Yep.
That you can explore, and it's just it's I'm all A lazy river. What did you say at your hotel?
Lazy River is definitely like the top of my list of how cool this thing is.
Mm-hmm.
And there's actually in this area too, almost like a miniature version of the big pool for the kids. It's really, somehow it wasn't the number one pool on our list based on the criterias we had, but
Close.
It was number 3, and I did feel obligated that we should mention Storm Along Bay. It is routinely considered one of the best resort hotels of all time.
It does a really good job with the theme, right? The theme itself of just making it fit like this resort oasis. It's hard to describe, but I think if you look it up, you know what I'm talking about. It's like it just was always here. You know, it was
So we're going to shift gears from the very opulent, the very ornate from Boardwalk and Yacht and Beach Club to, Tim, something a little simpler, something that we can all agree with and we know and love. It is the Hippy Dippy Pool over at Pop Century. And Tim, you, from the jump on this episode, were pushing for a Hippy Dippy Pool shout out. So here is your moment of zen, Tim. It's a 60s flower power themed pool. Take us home with it.
Yeah, I mean, this is, for me, the best utility pool on property. It's huge, absolutely massive, almost 250,000 gallons. The kiddie pool is in the same paddock as it, but separate. It's a value, so there's no hot tub, no slides. There are like water soaker flowers along the edge of the pool and a couple like waterfalls in the pool. The flower shape to it kind of allows it to almost be like a bunch of smaller pools that are combined into one. The movies Under the Stars at Pop are in the pool area, so you can catch the movie Under Stars while you're in the pool. And the pool bar here is really, really good. On a couple trips, I've had the same bartender there who is originally from like Cranston. So she's a blast.
I had him too. I know who you're
talking about.
Gordo.
Yep.
His name.
Yep.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. So, and like
3 times too.
This is completely anecdotal, and it could also be that like finding out that you're local to the bartender. Strongest drinks I've ever had on Disney property are at this pool bar by a mile. Other than at Trader Sam's, this is like the strongest drinks on property. Your mileage may vary on that one. But this pool, even when it's packed, and it often does get packed, I mean, this is the pool that's perfect for like, all right, we got back from Magic Kingdom. It's late. I just want to take a quick soak to, get the day off of me, to, just relax my muscles a little bit. And yeah, maybe you're going to get hit by a Nerf football from a kid, or maybe a kid is going to, jump in the pool right next to you, but you can kind of float yourself away from the action. It's just, I don't know. It's a big pool. It's a lot of fun, and there's a lot going on. And as far as value pools go, I think this is one of the better ones. There are also 2 quiet pools at Pop. One of them is themed to a laptop, which is the laziest theming ever because it's just a rectangular pool that they painted a laptop on the bottom of. And I don't even know what the other pool is. I've never been to it. I've only been to the bowling pin. Okay, that sounds right.
It's hot. It's a little hot.
I've been to the laptop one. There was 3 people in it because a laptop pool is very unexciting. But I prefer the Hippy Dippy pool. I prefer the action and the energy and the excitement and the strong drinks. So I think it's a worthwhile pool.
Jim, I don't disagree with you because I love the music at this pool.
Yes, fantastic soundtrack at this pool.
We could do an episode on Pop Century's music, but we don't have the licensing rights to play all the music because it's the playlist is like 300 songs long, and it
hasn't stopped us before.
That is true. Jordana, you're a big Pop fan. Tim hit all the right notes here, right?
Yeah.
No pun intended.
I can't believe you mentioned that bartender because it was like, I don't know, it was funny.
Small world. That's how Disney works. Right? Connection with people.
And then apparently he left after COVID. Just an FYI, he doesn't work at that bar anymore. I asked for him.
You asked him when he did his number.
I should have. But I will say that just personal memory, my son had a blast in the little kids area. It's a very, very simple area. It's just kind of like literally, I think it was down to like 6 inches deep, and it just has these little fountains everywhere. And it's like,
Tim.
I'm staying out of the kiddie area. Too shallow for me.
Tim's just laying in there like a starfish.
Exactly. That's after he had too many drinks from Gordo.
Yeah, from Gordo. That's why I found out they can't have these deep ends.
Exactly. Yeah, but I really love that kid area. I think it's so much fun.
Yeah, no, it is. And I think the value pools are criminally underappreciated. And we may mention one or two more, I think, before we're out for the night here. Tim, we're staying with you here because this is one that I think you've spoken about. We've talked about Polynesian quite a bit when we got the retheming news, and we've talked about your connection with the Polynesian. And obviously, the lava pool is like a spiritual cousin of Coronado Springs in terms of its layout and stuff. You got a 142-foot slide here. It is volcano themed. We talked about that. Again, the zero depth entry, which is a big selling point for you guys. Solid little lounge, but I think the Oasis pool has the better lounge here at the Polynesian. And then there's the mini version of the main feature pool right there. That's just the quick bones of it. But Tim, the Polynesian pool, again, when you compare it to something like the Contemporary and you scratch your head and say, what the hell are we doing?
Yeah, the theming spot on. I mean, the volcano is awesome.
Yep. It's
like got a grotto in it. It also has like the bathrooms are in the volcano itself, which is kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
They're like hidden in it. The slide is deceptively long for because it really twists around on itself. It's an awesome slide.
Yeah.
I went on it so many times during my pool day at the Poly, plus, at night when we're staying at the Poly. Zero entry is awesome. This pool has tons and tons of activities, like organized family activities, because this is definitely a resort where people plan a pool day. Mm-hmm. So, the Disney activities people will come out. The kids will all gather. They basically do it right in that super shallow part of the zero entry, all these cool, fun, mostly Lilo and Stitch themed activities for the kids. There's like ping pong tables. I think this pool bar is great. It has a lot of the same drinks as Tambu Lounge, which are some really good drinks. But you can also walk, right? If you walk past the kids area, you're right there. Captain Cook's is right there, one of the best quick services on property. Mm-hmm. And now with it reopening soon, Trader Sam's is also right there. Mm-hmm. So literally the best bar on the property, what many people consider one of the best bars in the country, is walking distance from this pool and kind of in that same pool adjacent vicinity. The kids area is awesome here. The splash pad is like this whole water playground with this really cool tiki theme. But yeah, just an awesome pool. And on top of that, the lounge chair area it's separated by a fence from the Polynesian's beach with the beach volleyball courts and the horseshoe pits and stuff. But you really do feel like you are lounging on the beach when you're in the lounge section. And then there's just like all the deluxes, a couple of hot tubs and stuff. The hot tubs, in my experience, can be a little bit quieter since there's a couple of them and they're like more separated from the pool. You're not going to have kids literally running and jumping to them because they're elevated up on little like lava platforms and mostly obscured by rock features. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I love this pool. This is a classic pool that a lot of people I have heard do split stays so that they're one day to be here to, have their experience at the Polynesian. This is a big part of the Polynesian experience. So probably my favorite pool on property.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Jordana, Drew, anything on the Poly? I know you guys prefer the Poly more than I do, so.
Yeah, it's on my bucket list. I think Poly, with all its refurbs and stuff, I have to give it a little bit of time. But I mean, I'm doing a short stay here in January, but as a family stay for pool, because Tim, when we were down there in January, you remember it was like 40 degrees out and there was no pool days to be had. So
yeah.
I'm assuming it's going to be similar to that I just need to plan something not in January so I can enjoy a pool day.
Well, Drew, good news for you. We've made it.
Yes.
We've made it to Scales. You're a good friend. We go from one of the more intense and solidly designed slides to a slide that isn't great, but the shell of the slide is the best theming on property for a slide, maybe, besides the Keister Coaster over at Luna Park. So, of course, we're talking about mine and Drew's favored resort. One of our Drew more so than me. I prefer Riverside. Drew prefers French Quarter. It's a matter of personal taste. Of course, it's Doubloon Lagoon.
Yes.
Drew, I think what people forget about this resort, because it's so small, and we've talked about it a couple of times. We talked about it earlier this episode. Everything is together. Everything is there. It's so convenient. The Mardi Gras theme is wild. The jazz playing alligators are out of control in the area. The slide is fine. It's cute. The kids like it. It's not too overpowering and scales the sea serpent.
You nailed it with the slide. The slide is definitely, it's not going to get your thrill factor. If you had to give a thrill factor for the slide, it's
0.
on the lower end. It's definitely a 3. I give it a 3.
Well, for you and me, it's not a 3. For the kids, it is.
Oh, correct. The kids are going to love it. For a young kid, this is a great,
Zach loved it. This is the first water slide
Sal in probably a year or two, or even right now, actually, he'd love this thing. If I don't know what the height limit is, but he would love this. But yeah, I mean, Zachary and Zoe, who are now 7, 8, they're going to start wanting something a little bit more than this, but they'll still love it.
Yeah, they will. And I do like the fact that the serpent kind of overtakes the entire pool area.
Yes. Yeah,
he's kind of winding his way through the area, and then you come out of his mouth and down his tongue, which sounds dirty, but it isn't. Don't worry.
Yeah, there's pieces of the serpent everywhere, right? And then what I love too is
out in the back,
and kind of his midsection or back, you can actually walk across it.
Yeah, it's a bridge.
The pool. It's a bridge. And it's just so colorful. It's so vibrant. It's so it's a come to life sea serpent.
And I'm going to say it. Probably the best kids area on property in terms of the little area off to the little water park off to the side.
It's a good one.
Splash pad, kids pool area, the Mardi Gras. I think we actually talked about it at Resort Dining. I think I even mentioned Mardi Gras being a really good place to just grab a drink or something and just hang out. Drew, I got to tell you, there was a spa here as well. It's a stretch. Calling it a spa. It's like a 4-seater. But again, a lot to do with Port Orleans is how it's just the pool is there right in the middle courtyard and everything is around it.
Yeah. You walk through the lobby and you can walk directly straight out to the back and there it is. It's and that's the beauty of this place. Most resorts have 8 courtyards. There's really just one courtyard. It's a massive courtyard.
Yeah. It's fantastic. It's right in the center of the resort. It's both Port Orleans pools do a great job of capturing the theme of each half of the resort, as it were. Drew, for me, your next one that you wanted to talk about is very close to my heart as well. It is, of course, the duck pond.
It is the duck pond at the All-Star Movies. And the reason I think this is so cliche or whatever is I think Mighty Ducks in general, the movies and the TV show, I think holds a place in our heart, Bob, like you said. But I think it does a lot more. And even the thing is about this pool is, one, it's one of the it's not the main pool at the All-Star Movies.
No, it's one of the quote unquote quiet pools, but not really.
Correct. So a lot of people don't go to the quiet pools to start with, and then 2, when you throw a Mighty Ducks theme, 90% of the people don't know what this TV show is. So they're like, well, I'm not going to go there. My kids won't know what it is. So it is usually a very empty pool if you do want actual quiet time, Bub. However, it's not encouraged. I will say they used to, I don't know if they still do this, they used to put dodgeballs in this pool for whatever God knows reason. And they used to encourage pool dodgeball. And I remember I went at it with this 10-year-old kid and I destroyed him. I was throwing dodgeballs as hard as I could at his face.
That is very you sound very satisfied by this.
Oh my God. This was before I even had kids. This was just me and Amy, and I was just dominating this kid. I don't even know where his parents were, and I didn't really give a shit. It was incredible. But the pool itself is fun. I love how they do like the changing rooms are like the hockey
Like the
locker room.
Yeah. Yep.
And the pool itself is a hockey rink. You can see they paint the lines underneath. They have the life size or oversized rather hockey nets with Goofy dressed up as the goalie. It's just it's a fun. And then you have the huge Mighty Ducks logo in the background at the at the resort. It's just
which holds a very special place in your heart too.
Yeah, I mean it's not the best pool. It's not but it's a relaxing fun pool.
But again, this we got away from that. This was more of pools that we think people should go check out and stay when they stay at these places. Go search these pools out. That's kind of what this episode evolved into.
We stayed at movies the whole Chili Pepper finastal, didn't we? I feel like we. Anyways,
might have been sports, could have been movies. It was one of the All Stars.
Yeah.
I'll ask Ron. I bet you Ron knows. You have the mind of an elephant. Doesn't forget anything.
Well, it took him an hour.
7.
Well, it took him an hour to fly.
2005. It was 15 years ago.
It been 4.
Who the hell knows? My mother might know. She bought us those T-shirts.
That's incredible. All right, well, that's all I got for Duck Pond.
Yeah, so very simple. Then I want to just let's wind it up. Let's go to the Jerry Springer final thoughts on the Disney pools.
Deep cut.
You're welcome. Is there a pool? And let's go from Jordana to Tim to Drew. Kind of, I don't know if that's counterclockwise the way I'm looking at it. Is there a pool on property that we didn't talk about or recommend to go check out that you do want to mention here? This is your opportunity to give us a deep cut.
Oof. Now I gotta think.
Jump the spot.
Can you come back to me?
Yeah, I'll go to Tim. Tim's got his hand up in the air.
My pick for this one, easy. Cozy Cone Pool at Art of Animation.
Yeah.
The Value Resorts have this like over the top literalist theming where this is themed to pop cultural icons that are oversized, and Art of Animation is themed to Disney animation, and the Cozy Cone Pool is literally a pool at the Cozy Cone Motel from the Cars franchise. It's the best example on Disney property of that values literalist oversized theming and architecture. So check it out. It's a really cool pool.
It's basically our Cars Land without the attractions.
That is true.
100%. All right, I thought of mine. So just, and not even the pool in general, but the pool area. Grand Floridian has one of the coolest kid areas ever. The Alice in Wonderland theming.
Does the pool area also smell like death, Jordana?
Probably.
Aloe and green clover, Bob. Aloe and green clover.
I don't even know why they have a kid area, because everyone there is over 60. But
correct, God's waiting room. That's what we call it.
But that kid area is awesome.
Drew, what about you? You got any that you would like to mention here, or did you get your deep cut with the Ducks pool?
I'm good. The duck pond satisfied my needs.
I'm going to go with Tim. The Cozy Cone's a great pool.
It is.
The Big Blue Pool over at Art of Animation as well. Massively fun. If you like Finding Nemo and stuff, it's super colorful. A lot of fun. Art of Animation nailed it. Jordana, you said something to us earlier, and I want to go back to it. You didn't say it here. You said it on Discord. You have some beef with one of the newest pool on property. In theory, I think it's the newest pool on property. You've got beef with the Riviera.
Yes. I just feel like they could have done a little bit more. It's a great area. It has great views. And I feel like that the Riviera is so phenomenally themed that it's just, it just missed the mark a little bit with the pool.
Slide is awesome at the Riviera, though. The slide is
I'll
cool.
be honest, the theme is a little confusing.
Yeah.
I think that's the word. Yeah. So, but I will say, and then the kids area, also a lot of fun. But it's just, I feel like they could have just done a little bit more with the theming. That's the only thing that they kind of missed the mark for me.
All right. So something super esoteric that I want to ask, because one doesn't equal the other in this instance, but it's just me being that guy. We've all seen the pictures, I think, online on the Diz Twitter, as Tim would like to refer to it as, of Typhoon Lagoon looking like River Country 2.0.
Mm-hmm.
With pools this great at the resorts, with pools that are as themed and as intricately designed, and to Tim's credit, some of these slides are better than what you see at some of these water parks. Why even reopen Typhoon Lagoon at this point?
I think
in terms of money,
right.
in terms of asses in the seats, you've got fairly low maintenance at every resort. It's just the pool. You don't need to worry about overhead and stores. And why even open Typhoon Lagoon ever again if you have all of these pools?
The only reason I would do it is because I feel like I missed out by never going to the H2O glow nights. Those always looked like a ton of fun.
Have them at the resorts.
We do them at the resorts. You do glow nights. When you do the pool, you can do glow nights at the pools.
I'm not a big water park person anyway, so I'm
gonna tell you why. I'd have to see the numbers.
Yeah.
Some sneaky feeling. I have a feeling that these water parks get a lot of locals.
Plausible, but I think they used to.
I don't think they.
I don't know
anymore.
Aquatica and Volcano Bay opened.
Correct.
Aquatica and Volcano Bay are.
I don't disagree.
And you could throw in that other one there too. Wet and Wild, I think, down there.
And there's another full-size water park at the new Margaritaville Resort in Orlando also.
Yes. Yeah.
But I think that was one of the things that kept them. I think really, I would love to see the percentages of locals versus tourists of those back in the day. Maybe not so much now.
Well, Tim, if anybody could appreciate what I'm trying to do here on this island, Typhoon Lagoon, opening ever again, or is it River Country 2.0?
So I think at this point, it's two things. The water parks are not as popular as they used to be, and they certainly aren't as popular as the regular parks for Disney. I think Typhoon Lagoon is a great water park, but at the end of the day, it's a water park, which it's not that different than any of those water parks we just named. And I have a sneaking suspicion that now in this post-COVID world we are emerging into, Disney furloughed a lot of people and is trying to call them back. And some of them have found different lines of work. And Disney is starting to hit staffing shortages, just like many lower wage or seasonal jobs are this year. And I don't think that your priority for cast members is to reopen Typhoon Lagoon when you're seeing the kind of crowds you are in the parks and will see regardless of Typhoon Lagoon is open. Right. Also, Typhoon Lagoon, because of Disney's focus on safety, requires a ton of lifeguards. And right now, I think all those lifeguards are probably very busy at all these pools at the resorts, especially with the remainder of the resorts now set to open in the coming months. I think it's just a simple resources game. And Disney doesn't do financials like this, but I would love to see what kind of a profit driver the water parks are for them, because I agree with Drew. I think over the years, they probably have gotten less or less, because no matter how much theming you put on a water slide, at the end of the day, it is still a water slide. And basically anywhere in America, you live within probably 45 minutes to 2 hours from a comparable water experience that just might not be as immersively themed.
Correct. Drew, for you specifically, should people be allowed to pool hop, and should they try to monetize it?
It should be allowed, and they can have a coupon day. I'd like to reference Caddyshack when the caddies are allowed to go to the pool.
The loopers, yeah,
the loopers. I think it would be a great idea to get people maybe out of the parks a little bit, and even if they charge you, I don't know, right? But the same thing that you brought up at the Yacht Beach. I would love to go to Yacht Beach if I could pay, I don't know, $50 for my family to go to there for the day, and I'm gonna still buy lunch from them and probably have a few drinks. It's just something that's, why not? What is there to lose? I guess it's the whole luxury of being a resort there or staying at the resort. But I think it should be allowed. I do feel strongly they should somehow monetize it and limit. I think there should be open to guests between these, between noon and 4, because that's when most of the resort guests aren't there. You know what I'm saying? What's the non-busy time at the pool and open that up to other resort members?
Yep, that's fair. Tim.
Yeah, just on the pool hopping thing. So first of all, pool hopping is actually a benefit of DVC ownership. It's officially called alternative pool usage benefit or something. And it interestingly, it excludes the Yacht and Beach pool. Stormalong Bay is not included unless you own at Yacht and Beach. But otherwise, you can hop. If you are a DVC member, you could go to any other resort's pool that also is within the DVC system. So I think the benefit will always at least exist for DVC folks. I agree with Drew that I wish there was some way they could monetize it so regular folks could take advantage of using different pools. But at the end of the day, and I hate to pick at the wound, but it is more or less another thing like the extra magic hours that are being given back only to deluxe guests, where part of the driver, as we have all talked, for where we're going to book our vacation is these amazing pools. Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden, if you say, all right, $20 a day, you can rent access to Lava Pool, and for $50 a day, you can rent access to Stormalong Bay. You've just taken away a huge portion of why some people are willing to pay double or triple to stay at it. So I think you want to keep the quote unquote exclusivity of the. I think Disney, not you. I think Disney wants to probably keep the exclusivity of some of these pools to attract guests to this higher class of resort, and also some of these pools with their popularity, with the novelty of it, with only having one water park open. I think Stormalong Bay is going to get a little bit crowded for the people who are paying that extravagant amount of money to stay there. So I just don't see a way to do it practically unless you have like limited hours or limited days that you can do it on. And then it kind of just becomes another water park more or less.
I think that was Drew's Caddyshack point, where you'd have to do it. You'd have to figure out when like the most people are at the parks and then give people like 2 hours to go or whatever. Jordan, any thoughts on the should they be allowed to park the pool hop?
No, I mean, I agree with Drew. Just that, I think it'd be okay to monetize it and give them a time limit, and then it just brings them more business.
The monetization on this podcast this week. We take 1 week off, and all of a sudden we're capitalists.
I guess so. I guess
on it.
Here it is.
So Tim, I'm going to leave you with this. What is the worst pool on property, and why is it still the Contemporary, Tim?
Nothing's changed. It just looks worse in the eyes of these lovely 10 or so pools that we've discussed. Stay at the Contemporary if you want to stay in that big A-frame or that beautiful Bay Lake Tower, but don't expect too much out of that pool area other than probably splinters from that slide.
It's really too bad that Drew wasn't involved with that conversation. We'd still be talking about it.
You're actually very lucky I was not involved. Well, guys, we've only scratched the surface at pool, so next week... No, I'm just kidding. But next episode, keep in mind, Jordana will be her last one with us, folks. So keep that in mind. She's going to take a little step away. She'll be back. She'll be around. But she'll be there. But that is going to wrap our episode about pools. And keep in mind, join our Discord that is open to all of you. Go buy some stickers. Wish Upon Magic. Mention the Disney Guys Uncensored. And if you want to join the Disney Guys Uncensored team, we are still actively looking for a partner to come on here and help us with some social media stuff. So let us know if that is something that might be interesting to you. As always, guys, thank you so much. We love hearing from you. Keep the emails coming. And thanks for listening to the Disney Guys Uncensored.
After careful consideration, I've decided not to endorse your park.